Who's on my desk, you're asking? Well, of course, I've got my BFF Buzz Lightyear, BB-8 cup, Stormtrooper. He's riding in Vanellope von Schweetz's car, which I got on the Disney Cruise Line. Vroom, vroom. Coconut cup from the Disney Cruise Line. Buzz again. Poe Dameron. Remus Lupin, what are you doing here? Just kidding. He's my favorite character from Harry Potter. Yes, I like both things. Sven. Hello. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, it's Molly with All Ears. I'm still in my office at my house, and today we are going to be talking about the mistakes people make in Epcot. We did this at Magic Kingdom. You asked to know what people do in the other parks as well, so here we go. These are mistakes that a lot of people make when visiting Epcot specifically. We're going to tell you what they are and how to avoid them so you have the best day ever when you go to Epcot. Number 1, not making or using their Tier 2 Fast Passes. So when you book your Fast Passes at Epcot, you are going to have the choice of 1 from Tier 1 and then 2 from Tier 2. In Tier 1, you've got the big attractions. You've got Frozen Ever After, Test Track, Soarin', and then you've also got Epcot Forever, which is viewing for the fireworks. I wouldn't pick that one. Pick one of your Tier 1 attractions that you want to do. Frozen Ever After is probably the hardest one to get, then Test Track, followed by Soarin'. Grab one of those. So people do that, but then they don't realize that they should also be picking and using Tier 2 attractions. The reason people don't pick them is because a lot of the Tier 2 attractions don't typically need Fast Pass because they typically don't have very long lines. I'm talking attractions like Living with the Land, The Seas with Nemo and Friends, Turtle Talk, Journey into Imagination, Spaceship Earth, Mission Space. A lot of times these attractions don't have very long lines, so people just either think, I don't need to book a Fast Pass for that. Or they do book a Fast Pass for it and then they walk up to the Seas with Nemo and Friends, see it only has a 5-minute wait, and they just go through the standby queue. This is a mistake. The reason is, if you want to get the most out of your Fast Passes, if you want to get a Fast Pass for both Test Track and Soarin', you have to use Tier 2 Fast Passes. The way the Fast Pass system works, you can book those 3 initially, then once you've used them all, you can book more one at a time from Tier 1 or Tier 2. That means if you've gone on Test Track and then you go to the Seas with Nemo and Friends and then you go to Turtle Talk, use Fast Passes on all of those things, you can now get another Fast Pass for Soarin' day of. It's great, it's awesome. I've got a whole Fast Pass challenge video at Epcot you can watch to show you really how to use the Fast Pass system. So my advice to you, pick the Tier 1 attraction you're gonna do, and then pick 2 Tier 2 attractions that you're gonna wanna do anyway, and then just make sure you use the Fast Pass. For me, I love the Seas with Nemo and Friends, so I like to grab a Fast Pass for that one. If you wanna do Figment, Spaceship Earth, Living with the Land, if you're planning on going these things anyway, just use the Fast Pass so then you can get some more Tier 1s. Number 2, skipping or not planning for the World Showcase entertainment. What a lot of people don't realize is that in World Showcase, pretty much every country pavilion has some kind of entertainment. And it's really cool and it's really awesome, and it's one of the best parts of just strolling through the different pavilions. But because there are 11 different countries with up to 11 different acts, it can get a little confusing. These schedules aren't always the same. Some other performers don't perform every day. Some perform just in the morning. Some perform just in the evening. So you want to kind of have a tentative idea of when the performers that you want to see are going to be performing. You can see this on the My Disney Experience app. You can pull each one up one by one, but this is one instance when I actually really recommend grabbing a paper times guide when walking into the park. I actually think times guides are great because it's all laid out right there in front of you. So if you grab one of those paper times guides, it's going to say on the back World Showcase Entertainment, and then it's going to list it out country by country, what the performers are, what time their sets are. This is especially helpful during the Festival of the Holidays when they have the storytellers in different countries telling the story of Christmas or their holiday traditions. You're going to want to see those. You're going to want to know when to go where, etc. So make sure that you plan accordingly for that World Showcase Entertainment. Some of my favorite acts from past and present, a lot of them change a lot. They're on seasonal contracts, so they rotate through quickly, but they often have a band in the United Kingdom that plays British rock. I absolutely adore that one. They usually have a band in Canada. Those rotate out quite a bit, but one of them was playing a bluegrass rock version of My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. One of the best days of my life listening to them. There's also the Mariachi Cobra in Mexico. They sometimes do a Coco show. So there are a lot of really fun entertainers in World Showcase. Oh, the Voices of Liberty in the American Adventure. They sing inside the American Adventure building with the atrium. Their voices bring me to tears. So there's a lot of great entertainment at Epcot that people don't realize is there. Actually, not in World Showcase. You should also check out the Janitors. They are in Future World, and they look like they're janitor cast members, but oh my goodness, now they're banging on Tupperware and oh, it's great. It's a delight. Go see them. Anyway, long story short, check a times guide, plan your entertainment while you're at Epcot. Number 3, not drinking enough water. This is very good advice for going to Walt Disney World in general. I'm not sure if you know this, but Florida is hot. Like really hot. Like a bajillion degrees surface of the sun type hot. So as a general rule, whenever you're in any Disney World theme park, resort, Disney Springs, wherever you are, you need to drink a lot of water, a lot more than you're probably used to, because Florida's probably hotter than wherever you're coming from. But this is especially true when you are in World Showcase, when, maybe you're traveling around the world having a libation in each one. I've done it. It's a lot of fun. That's why a lot of people go to Epcot. A lot of the big draw of going to Epcot is drinking around the world. It's eating and drinking in the different pavilions at the different festivals. I totally get it. I'm here for it. But you need to make sure you're drinking water. You may think I'm drinking a lot of stuff, but drinking beer is not the same as drinking water. You don't want to get dehydrated. And speaking of drinking around the world, I'm just gonna say, don't forget, you're in a family theme park. I love a pint from the Rose and Crown as much as the next gal, but let's not be sloppy. We're still in a Disney theme park. So make sure you drink your water, make sure you get your snacks, and you're gonna have a great time. Forgetting the characters. A lot of people don't realize that Epcot is actually a treasure trove when it comes to meeting Disney characters. People don't realize it because it's not as like Disney and magical as the Magic Kingdom. And when Epcot actually first opened, they didn't have the characters regularly because they wanted to separate Epcot and the Magic Kingdom. But that's not the case anymore. Epcot, like I said, is a treasure trove of characters, including a lot of characters you're not gonna meet in any other park. You can meet Ralph and Vanellope, you can meet Joy from Inside Out, you can meet Princess Aurora. This is the only place you're gonna find Princess Aurora on a regular basis that's not at character dining. You can meet Belle in her blue dress. Again, Belle's usually at character dining. You can see her in Enchanted Tales with Belle in the Magic Kingdom, but this is the only place you can just walk up and meet her without a show or character meals. Both Aurora and Belle are located in the France Pavilion. You can meet Mulan over in the China Pavilion. You can meet Alice and Mary Poppins over in the United Kingdom. You can meet Donald in a sombrero and a poncho in Mexico. It's adorable. But most importantly, probably most notable, as far as character meet and greets go inside Epcot, this is the only place you can meet Anna and Elsa from Frozen and Frozen 2. And I know there's a Frozen fan probably in your party. They're gonna wanna meet them. So yeah, people count out Epcot as not a character park, but in reality, you can meet a lot of great friends there. Thinking Epcot's not for kids. That's a big one that I get a lot. Will my kids even enjoy Epcot? What is there to do for kids in Epcot? And while there are more adult educational things, and a lot of the draw of coming to Epcot is again eating and drinking, especially the festivals, there is a lot of things to do for kids as well. There are all the characters I just mentioned, and there's also a couple underrated character dining locations in Epcot. The Garden Grill inside the Land Pavilion is a great character dining, one of my favorites. It's got Mickey and Pluto and Chip and Dale. You've also got Princess Dining over in Akershus in Norway. That's a much easier reservation to get than Cinderella's Royal Table in the Magic Kingdom, and you're still gonna be able to meet princesses. When I was there, it was Belle and Snow White and Ariel and Cinderella and Aurora, and it was great, and the food was delightful. So Akershus is another great character meal. But even outside of characters, there's a lot to do for your little ones. There are some attractions that kids are gonna adore. The Seas with Nemo and Friends, Turtle Talk, Journey into the Imagination. A lot of really little ones love Living with the Land because they get to see the fish and the plants, and hey, who isn't happy looking at fish and plants? I know I am. Some of the thrill rides at Epcot are really great for kids as well. Soarin' is always a family favorite for those that can ride it. When my family came recently to Walt Disney World, my nephew's favorite ride in all of Walt Disney World was Test Track. Probably mostly because his car he designed outranked the car his older brother designed, but still, he loved it. You've got Frozen Ever After. There's a lot of great attractions at Epcot that people don't realize their kids are gonna love. In addition to that, there are different activities for kids that you're not gonna find in all the other parks. In the sea base over at the Seas with Nemo and Friends, they actually recently rolled out a scavenger hunt with Dory that takes you all over the sea base looking at the different tanks and aquariums and looking for different creatures. And there's a map with stickers you fill in. I did it as an adult and I had a delightful time, so your kids should have fun doing that as well. There's also usually a scavenger hunt at any of the Epcot festivals, which take you around the World Showcase pavilions, and they'll ask you to look for pieces of art at the Festival of the Arts, or they'll tell you to look in different gardens at the Flower and Garden Festival, etc. You get it. That one's a lot of fun. Also at World Showcase throughout the year, not just during the festivals, they've got the Kid Cop Fun Stops, which are little stops that they can go to in each of the World Showcase pavilions where those countries' representative cast members are there with some kind of activity from that country, and they can collect things from each one. So there are a lot of things for your kids to do. So thinking your kids are just not going to enjoy Epcot and completely writing it off is a mistake a lot of people make. So don't do that. Not wearing the correct shoes. This is once again good advice for Disney World in general. If you cannot walk at least 5 to 10, probably more miles in the shoes that you are currently planning on wearing to Disney World, those are not the shoes that you need to be wearing to Walt Disney World. But I especially bring this up at Epcot because people underestimate how big Epcot is. Just walking from Canada to Mexico, one lap of World Showcase is 1.2 miles alone. That doesn't even count Future World, that doesn't count getting from your car or the Skyliner or the bus or the monorail. Epcot is huge. So you need to make sure you've got good, comfortable, broken-in shoes that you can last walking around all day, because there is truly nothing worse than having a blister ruin your day at Disney. Not plotting out the festivals. One of the things Epcot is most well known for is its festivals throughout the year. You've got the Festival of the Arts first thing January, February, then you've got the Flower and Garden Festival in the spring, Food and Wine in the fall, and then around the holidays you've got the Festival of the Holidays. And these are great. They're all wonderful in their own right, and a lot of people think, hey, I'm just going to go to the Flower and Garden Festival. And that's great, and you definitely should, but people don't realize that planning for a festival is an additional layer of planning you need to be doing when you're planning your Walt Disney World vacation. There is so much to do at all of these festivals that if you go in without a plan, you may be overwhelmed and you may not get to see the best of the fest. For starters, each of these festivals have amazing outdoor kitchens, food kiosks that you can grab little tapas-sized things and drinks, and there are a lot of different options. So make sure you check out the menus before you go so you know a few things you want to eat. Otherwise, you may just start eating at kiosk to kiosk and get full and then miss out on something super delightful like that pulled pork slider in Hawaii at the Food and Wine Festival, one of my favorites all year long. But we have the menus on AllEars. As soon as Disney releases them, we post them, so go check them out. Make sure you know, hey, I want to make sure I get these 3 or 4 things, and make sure those are on your radar before you get to the festival. Beyond the food and drinks, there is a lot of stuff to do at the festival, so you want to plot that out as well. There are different displays and gardens at the Flower and Garden Festival. The topiaries are amazing. At the Festival of the Arts, there's that interactive painting wall that you may want to do, or they hide chalk characters throughout the different pavilions. You may want to go on a scavenger hunt looking for those. At the Festival of the Holidays, they've got storyteller performances in the different pavilions. They tell the Christmas or holiday traditions from that country you may want to plot out. And then each of the festivals have some kind of entertainment at the American Gardens Theater inside the American Adventure Pavilion, and that actually rotates sometimes night by night, at least a couple nights by a couple nights, because those are celebrity performers. At the Festival of the Arts, they've got Broadway performers where Disney Broadway stars come and perform songs from things like The Lion King and Hercules and The Little Mermaid and Mary Poppins. And if you have a particular Broadway show you want to see, you're going to want to plan on going when that performer is going to be performing. Same thing at the Flower and Garden Festival and Food and Wine Festival. They've got 2 different concert series where they've got bands that maybe not the most popular bands, but they are a delight, and I will be at Boyz II Men every single year that they're at Food and Wine. You can bet on it. So you'd want to make sure you know when Boyz II Men or whoever you want to see is playing. And then at the Festival of the Holidays, they have the Candlelight Processional, which is when a celebrity narrator such as Neil Patrick Harris, Whoopi Goldberg, these are people that have all done it in the past, they come and they tell the story of Christmas along with a cast choir, and it's really lovely as well. So again, if you want to see one of these performers, you may want to actually plan when you go to Disney World based around when your performer of choice is going to be there. So again, there's so much to do at the festivals at Epcot. There's additional things you could pay for, like special tours at Flower and Garden. At Food and Wine, there's tons of amazing special meals and seminars and do-it-yourself cooking classes. Festivals are amazing. I cannot tell you enough. If you can't tell, I love the Epcot festivals. They're one of my favorite things at Walt Disney World. But you need to make sure you're planning so that you get the most out of going to the festival. You may need a day, you may need 2 days to do everything you want to do there, and you want to make sure you're planning for that. Not understanding Epcot's hours. So Epcot typically has a little bit of more unusual hours than the other theme parks. At the other parks, it's like if it's 9 a.m. they open, the whole thing is open for the most part. Go nuts, have a great day. At Epcot, it's a little different. Typically the park opens at 9, but that's just Future World for the most part. The majority of World Showcase doesn't actually open until 11. Maybe that's because most of the hype there is eating and the restaurants aren't open then. Maybe it's to slow down the people that are trying to drink around the world. Who's to say? I'm just speculating on both. But because of that, the vast majority of World Showcase doesn't actually open until 2 hours after the rest of the park. But I am here to tell you some great news, and that is actually there's a few things that do open early in World Showcase, most notably the bakery in France and Frozen Ever After in Norway. I tell you the bakery in France because one, that is a delightful place to have breakfast. There's not a lot of people back there. You can get yourself a French pastry and a coffee. It just sounds like a perfect morning in my opinion. And I tell you Frozen Ever After because that's an incredibly popular ride that has very long lines. And if you can go at 9, between 9 and 11, hopefully you're gonna get a much shorter line than if you go when the rest of World Showcase is open. Skipping some low-key awesome attractions. Remember earlier when I told you Epcot was great for kids? Ignore that part now. Everything for the most part that I'm about to talk about is maybe things that your younger children are not going to enjoy. But older kids and especially adults, especially a certain age bracket of adults, may really enjoy the things I'm about to talk about. For starters, a lot of the World Showcase pavilions actually have exhibits that people don't realize are there. There is one in Morocco, there is one in Japan, there is one in America Adventure, and there is one in Norway. And these are different themed, and there's a new one in France. That one's really cool. But these are themed exhibits that have artifacts and different things from around the world, and they rotate out occasionally. Like right now in France, the brand new one, it is a nod to famous French stories. So they've got props from the live action Beauty and the Beast that Disney did. They've got some costumes from Hunchback of Notre Dame on Broadway. They've got some really cool things in there. In Norway, it's actually in the Stave Church, and it's all about the gods and how important the gods were to the Vikings. So you're going to see some familiar names like Thor. So you should check out these exhibits, especially as you're strolling around World Showcase. They're all in air conditioning, so you can get a little bit of AC, take a moment, walk in there, look around. Very cool, and a lot of people don't realize those are there. Another great thing are the movies throughout World Showcase as well as Future World. A lot of people bypass the movies because they think they're boring, and sure, they may not be as exciting as an actual attraction, but if you're looking for somewhere to beat the heat and sit down for 15 minutes or so, you may really enjoy some of these films. They've got brand new movies in France. They just brought in the Beauty and the Beast sing-along. That one kids actually will quite enjoy. Features their favorite songs from Beauty and the Beast. You've got a brand new film over in Future World in the Land Pavilion, Awesome Planet. It's actually really depressing because it's about the planet and the state of it, but it ends on an uplifting note and all the things we can do to save it. You've also got a brand new film over in Canada. They got rid of Oh Canada. It's now Canada Far and Wide, and it is narrated by Johnny and Moira Rose. I'm sorry, I mean Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy. And there's also a new film coming over to the China Pavilion. So these movies again, also you've got the Pixar short film in Imagination Pavilion. That's a 3D movie. Kids will enjoy that one as well. These are all great places to sit down for 15 minutes or so, get some air conditioning, maybe learn a little something, maybe be entertained a little bit. You've got a really cool attraction in America a lot of people don't see. That's called the American Adventure. It is a 30-minute show, so it is a time commitment, but it is animatronics telling the history and heritage of the United States. And if you like US history, you're gonna love it. And if you like Disney animatronics, your mind is gonna explode when one of the animatronics walks upstairs. It's like the craziest thing ever. One of my favorite things to do in Epcot right now is called the Epcot Experience. This is in the Odyssey Pavilion as you're headed to World Showcase before you get to Mexico. And it's a really cool kind of like interactive map of Epcot, and you're in a 360-degree screen, and it's all about what's coming to Epcot. So it'll talk about Remy's Ratatouille Adventure coming to France. It'll talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And as it's talking about these things in this interactive 360 screen, stuff happens on this huge map of Epcot. It's really cool. I've got a whole video about the Epcot transformation that I feature it in. So again, the sea base is really fun. You can go look at sharks and manatees and dolphins. Kids will like that one too. So there are some things that kids are going to enjoy. There's some things that adults are going to enjoy, but there are a lot of low-key, under the radar, really fun things to do at Epcot. So in a way, Epcot can be like your chillest, most enjoyable and relaxing theme park day. So don't forget to take advantage of some of those. I'm not saying all these are must-dos that you need to cram all of them in, but if you're looking for something to do in between some fast passes, in between dining reservations, to sit down and just relax and be entertained for a little bit, these are all great options. Well, friends, that wraps up the mistakes people make in Epcot and how to avoid them. Have you ever made any of these mistakes? What's your best touring tip for Epcot? Definitely let us know in the comments. In the meantime, friends, make sure to rate, review, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram at AllEars.net, and until next time, y'all, I'm Molly, and it's been magical.
Want to see more of my videos? Click over here. Want to subscribe? You can do that right here. And also, ring that notification bell to make sure you get instantly notified anytime we post a new video. Thanks for following. See you real soon.